quick thank you to our sponsors for making this podcast possible. They keep this show free to listen to. Hey there, if you need a little help getting your kids the daily vitamins they need, I've got something to share that will help you as we all head back to school, and it fits easily into your morning routine. Between packing lunches, ensuring everyone's homework, and then navigating the morning hustle, getting our kids to take their vitamins can be a challenge. Well, let me introduce you to my new morning lifesaver, Little Critters Gummy Vitamins. Even my teenage daughters love them. Most kids think they're having a special treat, but I know they get the essential nutrients their growing bodies need. It's peace of mind for me and total yum for them, even if they don't admit it. Did you know Little Critters is the pediatrician recommended kids multivitamin gummy brand? It's true. And it's the perfect stress-free way to kick off the day. So why not make your mornings a little smoother? Shop Little Critters Gummy Vitamins now and start your school year off with a smile. Shop now at the link in the show notes. Thanks for joining me on the Peace in Parenting podcast. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome back to the Peace in Parenting podcast. I'm Michelle, and I'm so glad you're here. I really want to give a shout out to all those people who have left reviews on Apple iTunes. We so very much appreciate it, and I do read them, and I love reading them. And so thank you so much for sending those our way. I have one to read for you now from a lovely listener. And this listener says, so grateful for this podcast. I really want to change my parenting approach to be more kind and caring. I want to build a close bond with my kids now when they are little, and I need to break the habits that have been instilled in me since birth. This podcast touches on so many great subjects and gives you great ideas, like special time. Thank you so much for sending this lovely review. I so appreciate it. And thanks for all the people who are out there listening. Thanks for making Peace in Parenting podcast a real thing. All right. I want to talk about this idea that successful parents are not just people who have well-behaved kids. Successful parents are people who are trying hard. They are also people who care deeply about their children. They are also people who are changing and wanting to do better. They are also people who mess up and say and do the wrong things and apologize and take responsibility for their transgressions. And they are people who model goodness. They are also people who have children who say the wrong things, hit their brothers, are unkind, forget to do their homework, stay out past curfew, lie. All of those children are amazing children with incredible parents. So your child's behavior does not mean that you have not succeeded and that you have a bad kid. That is not true at all. And this parenting journey is hard. It's tumultuous and it's circuitous. And so you're going to get there. You definitely are going to get there. I'm going to get there too. And even though I have an 18-year-old, I still feel like I'm working on that relationship. I still feel like I'm succeeding and failing and learning and growing and moving with her just as much as I ever did, 10 years ago. And that I don't base my parenting prowess on how she behaves. I recently had this experience. I try to surround myself with people who are pretty open-minded around parenting and really open-minded around children, because I don't like to subject myself to the judgment. But I had I think it was a Mother's Day thing. Yeah, I had a Mother's Day gathering at my house. And as me, I said something she didn't like and she lost it. She really did. She stormed out of the room and went into her bedroom and created a pretty big scene. And for the first moment, I thought, wow, I wonder if everyone here is like thinking, oh, good job, parenting coach. You have the kid who like just stormed off and slammed their door and went into their bedroom. You're doing great. People shouldn't really follow your advice, all imposter syndrome. And I'm thinking, oh, I'm being judged. And I took a minute and I went in and said, and apologized to her and said, I'm so sorry. And would you please consider coming back out? And I didn't mean it. And she did. And it was all fine. But in that very moment, I thought, is everyone judging me because I don't have a kid who is perfectly behaved? I don't have a kid who is perfectly regulated. And should I have this kid? And I really I got duped for a split second into thinking, wow, maybe I'm not a good parent because my child stormed off and slammed the door and went into her bedroom. Maybe I am doing it all wrong. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this job of helping other people. And I had to really ground myself in that moment. I'm sure many of us feel this. I had to ground myself in that moment and say, her behavior is her behavior and it's not good or bad. It is what it is. It's a behavior. And she's having a hard time in this very moment. And I said something that embarrassed her. I don't even remember what it was at the time. It wasn't anything that was like egregious, but it hit her the wrong way. She's sensitive. And I don't have to feel bad that, or think badly of myself or think poorly of myself that I'm not a good enough parent or that I don't know what I'm doing or that I'm failing somehow because my kid had a behavior that isn't thought of as good in society. But I think we really believe that, and sometimes I'll hear parents say like, well, they must be doing something right. They've got a really good kid. They did X, Y, and Z, and they're going to college, and they're never back talk, and they're super, compliant, and they're respectful, right? That kid is very respectful, so that means the parent's doing something right. And when the child is disrespectful, then the parent's doing something wrong, and we're blamed for the child's misbehavior. And I don't want to play into that. I really don't want that to come into play in my own mind. But listen, it's hard because we're held to a high standard and responsibility around our kids. We're going to take a break from our show to hear from our sponsors. Without their sponsorship, I wouldn't be able to bring you this incredible show free of charge. So I'll see you back in a few minutes. Hey there, if you need a little help getting your kids the daily vitamins they need, I've got something to share that will help you as we all head back to school, and it fits easily into your morning routine. Between packing lunches, ensuring everyone's homework, and then navigating the morning hustle, getting our kids to take their vitamins can be a challenge. Well, let me introduce you to my new morning lifesaver, Little Critters Gummy Vitamins. Even my teenage daughters love them. Most kids think they're having a special treat, but I know they get the essential nutrients their growing bodies need. It's peace of mind for me and total yum for them, even if they don't admit it. Did you know Little Critters is the pediatrician recommended kids multivitamin gummy brand? It's true. And it's the perfect stress-free way to kick off the day. So why not make your mornings a little smoother? Shop Little Critters Gummy Vitamins now and start your school year off with a smile. Shop now at the link in the show notes. Weeknight dinners always get me down. Trying to figure out a nutritious and delicious meal for my girls is such a chore. But with Knorr sides and bouillon, you can create amazing dinners with little to no effort. It's not a secret that we all love combo meals from our favorite fast food restaurants. They're delicious and affordable. What if there was a way to make mouth-watering and actually nutritious combo meals in your own kitchen? Introducing Knorr Taste Combos, a menu of delicious, affordable, and well-balanced meals that you can prepare at home in 30 minutes or less. Knorr is the not-so-secret ingredient from its bouillon to its rice and pasta sides that brings major flavor to delicious home-cooked meals. My personal favorites are the cheddar broccoli bowls and the chicken tacos. Knorr makes making dinner easy and delicious. Check out Knorr to bring more peace to your meal prep at Knorr.com.
My book, Unpunished, is finally here. It is my journey into connected parenting, the idea of perfection and how it nearly took me down as a mom. I give you my best thinking around how to be a connected parent and the insights that I've discovered over the last 12 years of this incredible journey. I'm giving my book away for free, plus shipping and handling. So go to unpunished.com and get yours today. We're shipping domestically and we're also shipping internationally.
Okay, back to the episode. But our children's behavior is their behavior, it's their experience, and also behavior is a message to us. It was a message to me that I said something that was striking a chord with her. And it was a really good lesson for me around like saying things off the cuff and not being more sensitive about the things I'm saying and not thinking about the things that I'm saying. It was a really good lesson for me in that moment. And she was right. She was right to feel, slighted. And it was an indicator, right? She was showing me, she was indicating to me something. She was trying to convey a message to me in a very, Esme way, right? And some kids, that's how they communicate. They communicate through behavior. And this behavior was a hard behavior to manage. And it wasn't also at the same time. And what the lovely thing about a kid who displays this way, not all kids do. I don't know, maybe other ones don't, but she gets it out and then she gets over it and then she moves on and she does get it out and she expresses herself and she's able to have her feelings and it's all kind of realized. Whereas Pia's the opposite. She'll withdraw. She will she wouldn't storm off, but she would kind of slink away later maybe and go in her room and you wouldn't know she was gone. And then like 30 minutes later, you'd be like, where's Pia? Oh, she went in her room because she would have not made a big upset about it. And then when you went to talk to her, she would say nothing's wrong, even though something was wrong. And you'd have to, bide your time or ask later in a different moment or let it go and have her come to you. But it's a very different way of displaying upset. So please don't judge yourself. When your child is coming to the situation with, hitting or biting or kicking or whatever, and you're in public and you're feeling shamed by all the people around you, you're not a bad parent. Your child is not a bad child. They're having a moment. And I worry more about children who don't have these hard moments. I worry about the children who actually don't display dysregulation at all, ever, or even slink away or even do anything where they're just totally regulated and they, never, they're not affected by their emotions. That worries me deeply because there are emotions in there for all of us. And, life is tumultuous, right? And life is hard. And there should be these hard moments. There are these hard moments in all relationships. So when you have a relationship with your partner or with your best friend or with your sister or with your mom or with whomever, you have hard moments. You have difficult situations. You fight and you say the wrong thing and you do the wrong thing, but it doesn't mean that relationship is bad, right? It doesn't mean that any one person is a bad person. I mean, if somebody is like constantly being unkind to you and you need to set a boundary, now that's something totally different. But we all make mistakes. Good people make mistakes. And good people in parenting make mistakes but also are trying. So I think if overall, and I think there's a parenting expert out there who says that you only have to be doing it right 30% of the time. And I think likely we're doing it right way more than that, way more than 30% of the time, 50, 60% of the time, I'm sure. And so if you're doing it right, quote unquote, right, if you're becoming self-regulated, if you're trying to connect, if you're doing the things, if you're, really leaning into empathy and understanding and play and all the things, 60% of the time, or even 50% of the time, you can consider yourself successful. And if your child is also, quote unquote, behaving or regulated, also 50, 60% of the time, you're also winning. They're meant to do the wrong thing. They're meant to talk back. They're meant to be disrespectful. They're meant to storm off and slam their door. That's what they're meant to do. That's who they are. Those are children acting childishly. And we do too, right? We act childishly sometimes too, because we lose our minds and we've not learned how to regulate because we likely didn't have self-regulated parents. So we're just teaching ourselves how to self-regulate on our own. We don't even have models of it. We're just gleaning it from books and learning it from Instagram and listening to podcasts and trying to understand that self-regulation is a thing that we don't even have a great model to glean from. But you can become that great model for your kids. And that's all that matters. It doesn't matter that they're upset. It matters that They're upset and you're upset and we all recover and we're good people deep down in our hearts and our souls. And we're trying really hard. We all are. If you're listening to the podcast, you're trying. If you're following me on Instagram, you're trying. If you read any parenting book or spend any time thinking about parenting ideology, you're trying. And that's what your kids will notice. And hopefully, I would love for society to see that. When I see a mom having a hard time, even a dad having a hard time, any parent having a hard time, really, I always smile at them. And I always say, oh man, I get it. It's so hard. I try to say something like as I'm in passing, just like, it's okay. There was a baby crying on an airplane recently and the mom was so upset about it. And I said, let her cry. It's okay. Babies cry. We're all used to it. Don't worry about it. It's not bothering me at all. And she was like, no, I'm so embarrassed. I'm like, no, you don't have to be embarrassed. That's what babies do. That's what teenagers do. They storm off and slam their door. And it's all right. And I'm not going to take it personally. And I'm also not going to judge myself that I'm not a good parent. And I'm also not going to, feed into this imposter syndrome that I can't be a good parenting coach because I don't have a perfectly behaved child. In fact, my child who is hard and big emotioned and sensitive and all those things makes me a better parenting coach because I learned so much how to navigate those situations that it allows me to have empathy for people in my same situation. And it also allows me to learn skills that I can use to help navigate those kinds of situations. And I can pass those skills on to other people. So thank you for joining me on the Peace of Parenting podcast. And just remember, your child's misbehavior does not say a thing about your parenting, and it does not say a thing about your child. You're doing great. Keep up the good work. Keep trying and forgive yourself when you mess up and forgive your child when they mess up. All right. Thanks for joining us. I'll see you next time.